Have you ever gotten out over your skis when it comes to listening to someone? Well, if you have, sit tight because that's the question we're going to answer on this edition of Dr. Todd Explains. Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Todd. I was talking to one of my counselors the other day, and I noticed that when he kept going over his case, he kept answering questions for the person that he was helping. And it led me to start thinking through, what is our role as a listener? And well, our role as a listener is to be a guide by the side and not a sage on the stage. And we have to really fight that impulse of something called the righting reflex. What I mean by the righting reflex is when somebody says something that's clearly wrong or illogical or irrational, we have this tendency to want to right that for them. And so we need to stop that. We need to hold that in. And I like to think of it as if your conversational partner's stuck on the second floor of a building and you've got a ladder and you need to climb that ladder so you can get closer to talk to him or her. What are the rungs on the ladder? Well, the first, and the way I look at this, these are general ways of thinking of questions that you can use. You don't have to ask these specific questions, but this is the information you're trying to solicit. On the first rung, the question is simply, what's going on? We want to know what the overall situation is. The second rung is, how do you feel about that? We really want to remember, an unacknowledged emotion only grows stronger, so what we're wanting to do is we're wanting to elicit the appropriate emotion that the person's experienced so we can help them make sense of things. The third step on the ladder, the third rung on the ladder, is what does that mean? Because typically the emotion reveals meaning, although the person hasn't articulated it yet. And once they articulate what it means, then things start to open up a little bit. The fourth rung on the ladder deals with what can you do? In other words, what are your options in this situation? And then the fourth rung on the ladder is kind of the call to action. What are you going to do? Remember, what we're trying to do is help this person be fully human. And part of being fully human is being able to be an image bearer, which means to be able to make decisions. So we're not going to rob them of that opportunity for growth in making decisions. Because remember, we're a guide by the side, not a sage on the stage. And if you'll follow those steps or those rungs on the ladder, you'll keep from getting too far out ahead of yourself and toppling over. Well, I hope this is helpful. If you like the work I'm doing, please feel free to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you won't miss videos like this. Also, if there are any ideas of topics like this you'd like to talk about, just let me know by putting them down in the comments section. God bless. I'll talk to you in the next video.